Gonna be Sarber, gonna be first up versus Minus as a shatter pace as he's letting the Void Eruptions hit on every angle, playing in the Void Eruption talent. So he's trying to see if he can play into more of a, I guess the Voidy bolts flying out in every direction, since Void Eruption is a 1 minute cooldown. As it's going to be Light and Lassa. For the most part, Sarber doesn't actually want to approach Minus. He just wants to see if he can poke at the bear from a distance. Quick Thunder to follow, as it's going to be Silent. Sarber actually kind of limited on some of the spells he can cast. This is going to be a chance for Minus to go for some of those spikes. Potentially could go for the big damage as well. Sarber trying to go for big Bloodlust to follow. It's going to be Siphon joining in with Minus going in for big defenses. Seeing cooldowns out of Sarber, seeing that Bloodlust, decides to go for Disperse together with Vampiric Embrace. Might have been an overcommit to cooldowns. This is going to be a random Ascendance out for Sarber. Trying to see if he can blast him out to Smithereens. Going to be a VT at the very least. Minus at some point is going to try to see if he can get some of those spikes in there. Otherwise, his health is going to be a bit of a jeopardy. Into a Trinket. Got him some Dark Ascension yet again. Really wants Sarber to close that gap so he can hit him with this Void Bolts. I think he's got to hit him with a Fear or a Stun and use those Void Eruptions right next to him in hopes that any of those bolts make a connection. Silence to follow. Minus wants to go in for a couple of those spikes. Those spikes can do quite a bit of damage too. Dodges the Sunder at a perfect time with that fade into a Siphon as Sarber trying to see if he can fight through it, sending a couple of Fiends over at him with a Shadow Crasher on the corner, reapplying all of his dots. So Minus at least is able to keep himself quite a bit of pressure. There goes Ascension, does get a juke and interrupt until Silence. Sarber doesn't go anywhere, trying to see if he can go counter offensive. Looks like one of the bolts is going to attack him. Minus needs to go for as much damage as possible. He's got himself a perfect opportunity. Void Torrent to follow him, trying to see if he can dodge it maybe. It's going to be Lightning Lasso Tentacles on Sarber. Minus needs to go and make a play right now. He's got himself a great opportunity. Does he have any spikes? Does he have anything whatsoever? Trying to see if he can reposition, but it looks like maybe big damage. Sarber does end up lashing out at the guy, taking him out with Delusional. The Rogue going to be up next. Got Road in the opener. Full burrow down for Tsar, trying to see if he can knock the Rogue up. Immediately hits him with a kidney shot as he pops back up from the earth. Full damage to follow. Death mark established for Tsar. It's only a matter of time until he is down. Disarmed, so his Maelstrom generation is limited, but the Ghost Souls do help out in that regard, but Delusional is able to spike him down, carving the mark into the Shaman, letting him bleed out profusely on the arena floor as the Rogue fades back into the darkness just to go again for a killing spree. Kaishima trying to see if he can find the murderer in the streets of Hook Point. Can he potentially find the Rogue's ploy as he's out here butchering the competitors on the, I guess the fishing grounds, based on the, what do you call this? A harbor? Fishing grounds? Butchery shop? It's like a mix of everything, right? There's gotta be a word for it, man. And I live in a port city, but even I don't know. This is going to be Sap on Takai. Garou to follow. Does have a Succubus somewhere. Does have it hidden in the mist, hiding in plain sight as an invisibility is present for it. Shadow Fury, big Casebolt getting set up. Delusional does go for Trinket. Into a Shadow Step, disarming Kaishima off the Casebolt. Trinket to follow as a Mortal Coil comes out. Delusional might be kind of limited on his burst opportunity. Backing up out of there as an Infernal goes crashing down. Could go for advantage, potentially full dot on the pet. Trying to see if he can build some calm points as well. Trying to make sure he gets some pressure on the Succubus as well as on the Infernal, and maybe those spikes on the Succubus and the Infernal can then translate into even more calm points versus Kaishima blind onto the Warlock as he finally closes the gap. Is Delusional trying to see if he can maybe fight through and wait out the Infernal? Maybe. Full kidney shot onto Kai. Does not have a full big go, but does force a wall at a Kai either way though. No death mark, no exsanguinate, no nothing. So for Delusional, that might not be the worst situation. I think just putting in a lot of pressure onto the Succubus. Wait, is he eliminated? Wait, is Succubus dead? Hold on a second, or do you sacrifice it? You might have just sacrificed the Succubus and absorbed it back in just to increase his own power. Delusional catch himself a reset, Garou in the opener. Does he have himself a full stun? Deathmark could be the play right now. Does have himself a good go versus Kai, but instead looks like he's going to bleed him up. Saving Deathmark for the next competitor, by the looks of it, maybe just trying to see if he can make a play into an Eviscerate, or Envenom rather. Kai has no help whatsoever. Just dotted. Delusional is actually walking to the next competitor, minus a Trinket and advantage. He actually has just about everything he needs. Arizona, the Hunter, is going to be up next. Maybe could pre-evasion this. Does not have a Trinket for Arizona. Just to get the dots onto Delusional. Let the grenades and the fire shrapnel damage burn through the Rogue. Let the poison scorch through his veins. But Delusional has himself a chance. Does Arizona run Manic Bandages? Because if they do, it could remove the Death Chakram or Death Mark entirely. Cloak Shot is for Delusional. Try to get himself a bit of a setup. Use the bandages really early for Delusional. This is a perfect opportunity. If he goes in for full stun into Arizona, full dots, he can't remove him. Trinket, but a freezing trap is going to stop him. Wait a second, maybe Arizona has himself a chance. If he goes in for death mark either way, you're still going to be a bad spot. Blind to follow. Oh no, you needed to charge in there. I would have just ran in and death marked him immediately, as Arizona trying to find himself a better setup versus Delusional, the rogue, trying to see if he can blast out the pet, actually putting quite a bit of pressure. Stun around the corner, does not have a trinket anymore, so not a great spot. Root for a second. Arizona does get hit with a gouge just from right after. Freezing trap onto the rogue, I think, just trying to see if he can avoid him, as the rogue wants to end this deal right now. Does he have a shadow step? He might need to use something, anything. Cheat death to follow. Last chance, last play, does go in for a stun. Death mark onto Arizona, could remove remaining bandages, is gonna remove it immediately. Rogue's last haymaker is gone, and it's going to be a quick into her food explosive, and down goes the boy with who's up next. It's going to be Anto join in. Anto doing the same thing. Hold on, there was another paladin we had in these duels that literally went sword and board retribution paladin. This man is actually a ret. You think like, what is a tank doing in this group? He's just running a shield and a one-hander. He's not actually a ret. He's not actually a prot. This is a Retribution Paladin. It's a DPS spec, but he's got himself sword and board. It doesn't stop you. Reds figured out that apparently you could just do this and it doesn't make a difference. I don't know if there's advantages to this, but we've seen the Paladin do incredibly well with it. Got him some big hammers AoEing around him. You literally do end up playing this like shield warden Paladin playstyle. It is kind of nutty. Hand of Freedom clearing through all the traps, only freezing trap waiting for him is Anto. Man, Arizona just doesn't even let you touch him whatsoever, even though you got all this anti-trap play with a Hand of Freedom. There's only so much you can really do in this situation. Trying to see if you can deal with the Raptor, at least build holy power from somewhere, anywhere. Stone onto Arizona, but a charge trap slows it down. Answer is just unable to get himself much damage, but the Wake of Ashes can cleave through the wall. There's going to be a binding shot right after. It's just kind of stunned. He can't really go anywhere. The Hunter has the entire control of this arena. Not going to let you go anywhere. You're playing by his rules right now. Stun with a pet. It's going to be grenades sent in. Kill shot available. Enter could potentially. No bubble available. No bob. No laying hands anymore. The man might actually be in a lot of just leaves. That is unfortunate, dude. Arizona was not gonna let you play the game whatsoever. His arena is gonna control you entirely. But can Kiosko match up Arizona once or... Oh, I'm liking the set. Hey there, Kiosko. How you doing, my guy? Welcome, welcome. Nice little spirit maze you got going on. Trying to see if you can play up to the whole blood troll aesthetic. Gonna be a stun into Arizona. Death Shotgun getting sent in for both hunters. Arizona trying to see if he can get himself a little bit of damage with Kiosko, but also trying not to get himself stunned up at all. Actually keeping his pet right next to him. It's gonna be the binding shot. Not available. Kiosko taking lots of damage from Arizona. Goes in for a root, letting the pet attack him. Trying to see if he can maybe get some cooldowns out of Kiosko. Kiosko does have himself the aspect of the Eagles, so could go for range damage. Gotta be the pet. Breaking the manic bandages for Arizona. Trying to go for a little bit of recovery. Battle Master Trinket does end up falling off. This is gonna be Triceratops chasing after him. Kiosko is gonna get himself stunned up. Trinket to follow. Kill shot right after. Does it take him down right now? Kiosko hold on. Turtle Shell right now for Arizona. Kiosko goes in for Turtle Shell as well. Kiosko is the second to use Turtle Shell, so you can always go for kill shot. Unless Arizona can maybe get himself a good go. Big camera right now. Kiosko trying to see if he can go for a little bit of re-stealth. Gotta be a flares down. Is it Kiosko's flare? Ooh, looks like something gets him out of stealth into grenade to follow. Arizona does end up taking this one. When Jayhawk trying to see if he can end Arizona, the Hunter is up with nothing. Steel trap around the corner. Jayhawk probably gonna break out of this one as soon as possible. Arizona needs something, anything stun on Jayhawk. Has himself a blink in case he wants to. Arizona trying to see if he can backpedal out of there. You got traps, you got freezing trap, binding shot, tar trap. You got everything you need technically to get the mage off of your back, but with this mage is Jayhawk, man. He's got a back blink on you with a breath to follow. Not gonna let you do anything whatsoever. Freezing trap does get himself frozen. Could be a trinket. Touch of the magic is on you. Trying to go for many bandages. The man breaks out of that freezing trap. And that's going to be some damage on Jayhawk as Arizona repositions entirely to a whole another set of pillars. Has a trinket coming back up. All the time for Jayhawk. Freezing trap waiting for him. You really want to kite him into that freezing trap if you can. Ice blocks it. What the hell? Hold on a second. Wait. Could Arizona come back out, Kama, into man advantage? I think there's no way. Unless Jayhawk just pulls in all the stops. He needs to use everything he can onto his tool belt as a mage to win this duel. But I think Arizona mages have it in the bag. They do have traps. You will be able to see them flare down as the mage goes for a quick invis. He more or less has an idea where Arizona could be. With our flare, with the traps, it's going to get caught out in the open. Hunter's mark right after. Cannot really go for proper invis anymore. So Arizona will be able to get a proper go on you. Manning bandages to help you recover. Jayhawk sitting down for food. Probably expected for Arizona to also be going for food as well. Kill command into an explosive trap to follow. He's got himself the ult time, so you could always reposition. He's going to try to see if he can reposition and get Arizona out in the open. Freezing trap to stop you in place. Arizona does have a death shotgun for this point. I think at this point now you might just have to go for full damage when you get a chance. Jayhawk, blinking, stone, perfect, no chicken available, get him some full death shotgun into kill shot, flanking strike, oh, and Arizona doesn't have taken you out. My goodness, this Hunter, just vicious, deadly. Did they just go for 3? No, that should have been 4. One of them doesn't count because it is a paladin who left, but I feel like that still should count, right chat? Or should it not count? But that is 3, I think it's 4. Personally, I feel like if you left, even if you didn't really like the competitor, like, hey, getting played, getting kited around in circles, not super fun.